But life journey and experimentation, adventure happens to be one of my core values in the tree. So I like to fool around and experiment with life and have an adventure. I've done many things. And that has, over a period of time, given me an opportunity to experiment. And God has given me the opportunity to learn and reflect. And it's a continuous journey. Hopefully, on the last day of my life, I would have had clarity. I'm hoping. And I've got 8,432 days to do that. So, yeah, thank you. It's a continuous process. The more conscious we are that we need to have more clarity, it helps. Thank you. Reflection. The way you do it is reflection. Reflection, reflection, reflection. Otherwise, we become busy. God knows with what. Okay? And these tubes, the 4 tubes we have, TV, computer, phone, and iPad, those are good. I mean, I use them too, but they are stimuli coming at you. And we don't get to pause. Yes, please.
This concept of timeout, doesn't this create a kind of scarcity mentality, or is it that abundance mentality is not for us as such?
Time out or time shortage? Which one are you talking about?
Time out, T minus 10.
Time, you're talking about the decreasing time factor.
Yes.
And you are saying it creates a concept of lack of abundance.
Yes.
To me, it's the other.
Or is it that abundance mentality is not, we are not yet ready for that kind of mentality?
Fair enough. It's tempting to think that way, but actually the way it works for me is that I know that's a constraint, and within that constraint can I maximize my potential. So that's the way I look at it. I tell myself I have 8,332 days, so whatever I want to do, I have to do purposefully. If I lack the consciousness, I have eternal time. And I'm going to fool around. And then regret, last 10 days of my life, that I wish I did something. See, people who have cancer, for instance, before I say that, how many of you have seen the video, The Last Lecture? It's by a Carnegie Mellon professor. He had cancer, he was told he has 6 months to live, and he gave a lecture in CMU for his children actually, who were it was meant for them. Somebody videotaped that and put it in YouTube. So many people who have cancer suddenly realize they have very little time to live. And the smart ones live full of life. Actually, it's a T minus. So we have two choices. Either we can get cancer and then realize it, or we can realize it in our conscious life. And that's why I'm propagating this philosophy of T minus. So the way I look at it, there's a constraint that's a reality. I'm going to become 80 anyway. I might live up to 90, even better, it's a bonus. But it's up to me to do whatever I want to do. I can't say, and there are a lot of my friends who want to come here and give back to IIT. And when the time comes, they'll do it. But they're busy right now. They're the same age as me. But I made the choice. So we make choices based on our consciousness. And time is something to be conscious of. That's all it is. It's not very profound, by the way. Yeah? Sir, you have a microphone? Please give him a microphone. Oh, yeah, after him. Okay, yeah, go ahead. Your turn.
Hello, sir. I'm Nikhil, second year BTech. Should a mentor be a strong critic or a motivator, or a mix of both?
A mentor is somebody who is a well-wisher of you and is comfortable telling you whatever they want to tell you. But the mentee sets the environment for that. And that's what it is. I'm going to call a gentleman who's a mentee of mine. Venki, where are you? Come. His name is Venkatesh. Venkatesh is from IIT Madras, alumnus, just graduated when? Last year. Last year. So he doesn't have a microphone. Give him a microphone, please. So here's a story that you will like. So I'm going to do a quick interview of Venki. A couple of questions. So, yes, sir. No, this is better. So, come. So Venki, tell me, how did you meet me? You were a student at that time, right?
Actually, the whole journey started like 2 years before. When he was about to set up this company. He wanted to get some web development work done. And I got introduced to him by another alumni of IIT Madras. So then we sat for a business meeting. It was a really long meeting. At the end of the during the meeting, I realized that I really got interested in him, and I felt that there is a frequency match. So I thought it would be really great if I can have him as a mentor. So I was thinking about this throughout the meeting. At the end of the meeting, after all the business conversation is over, I asked him whether he could be my mentor. I think that initiated the whole journey. If that word at that point of time was not put, the journey would have not been started according to me.
So what did I say at that point? Did I agree right away, or what did I do?
So he said he actually travels a lot around the world. So what I did was I took his Skype and Gmail IDs. I added him. I sent him requests. I initiated the process more or less.
He was on my case, very respectfully, very politely, and said, "Do you have time? Do you have time?" So what do we talk about when we interact?
So usually we talk about a lot of things. Actually, we usually talk a lot about business. We talk a lot about entrepreneurship. Other than that, I would like to tell this, in which he helped me make a decision of my life. So I graduated last year. When after my placements, I sat for placements and I got a good job. One of my professors, I don't know if he's here, but Professor Shankar Narasimhan from Chemical Engineering Department, he was starting a company. So I was really confused. He was my DDP guy too, and I'm interested in entrepreneurship. I was really confused what to do. I couldn't tell the same thing to my parents also, because I was from a non-business family. I felt that they won't understand. So I asked him, I took his advice. I set up some kind of a conversation. I set up a time slot for us to talk. And he asked so many questions to me. It's really cornered me in one sense. I really appreciate that the way he questions things to make the other person realize what he wants to do. So in that conversation, I realized what I want to do. Rather, he didn't give me any advice straight away. He just asked me lots of questions which I never had answers, frankly, before taking a decision. So once I got the answers, I realized what I want to do, and I told my parents. It helped me in presenting my case to my parents, which I think is difficult for first generation entrepreneur who is coming on quitting a job and all. So that helped me a lot in setting up the conversation. Other than this, we talk a lot about personal details. He's not only a business mentor or a entrepreneurship mentor to me. He has been a big brother. He has been a close friend. It's always great to have someone like this whom you can openly talk a lot of things. It's not only about business or an entrepreneurship or an education or a course. It's always good to have someone like him who's experienced to share, who has seen a lot more things than what we have seen. So I think it's really important for someone here to always have a mentor.
So what did I ask you in return? In return, what did I ask you?
So this has happened like a month before. He met some other person in IIT who works in Taramani guest house. Muthu, are you here?
No, he's
I
not
think
here.
he didn't.
So I'll tell you the story of Muthu. Muthu came to Chennai from a small town to serve tables in a restaurant about 5-6 years ago. He speaks Tamil mostly, a little bit of English. While he was there, it occurred to him, he asked himself, is this the end of my studies, 10th standard? Then he cultivated a customer and asked him, what do I do? The customer was kind enough to advise him and said, you go to a correspondence course, you don't have to actually go to college. He did that. Then somehow he learned Excel and a few things. He did some accounting stuff. Somehow he got hired into some contract company. Somehow that led him to work in IIT. He works in the reception in Taramani guest house. And in the nights, he does that. So he has seen me a couple of times. And he has helped me with the LAN connection, and I've taught him how to create the process and whatnot. So he's gotten to know me because I come here once in a while. One day he came to my room and said, at 10 o'clock in the night, he said, I want to talk to you. He said, I want to learn HTML, and I want to go back to my village. I want to start a company. I want to do some computer servicing. So the energy was there, but I need some help. So I told myself, here's this guy who knows all this stuff, and it's payback time. So let him pay me back. So I requested him to support Muthu, and that interaction is going very well. See how this all works? Thanks.
Just not only that, he talked a lot about reverse mentorship. I think you forgot to mention this. Just I want to mention
please
this.
do.
See, I learn a lot from him, frankly. We have this regard, okay? Whenever I get low, he is the one who inspires me. He has done so many things. I have been actually fortunate to know about IIT and write JE, come here, spend 5 years of my life, see all, get global and all these things. But there are a lot of people like this who inspire me. Not only Muthu, there are some more persons in my life, and I really appreciate Muthu for what he was doing. This is what he says, reverse mentoring or whatever it is.
So actually, so I asked him, how's it going with Muthu? And he says, that guy is amazing. He always wants to learn. He's on my case and he learns fast. So that gives him inspiration. You see how this whole human energy flow works? Okay, thanks, Venki. Thanks for sharing. You had a question. Last question, we're going to take that.
Hello. Yeah, I'm a degree student in electrical engineering department. You had talked about self-awareness and you had mentioned 3 heads. One was your skill set, what we can, our capabilities. One was what nourishes us, what gives us enthusiasm, and one was the anchor. So even if I know these 3 aspects about me, a lot of times I found that I don't know what to do about it. I mean, there are things which enthuse me and there are things I'm good at, but it's not always very obvious how to connect these.
That's a fair question. It's hard. And many times, ultimately we'll figure it out ourselves. But it helps to talk to others. It helps to ask people questions. What do you think? For example, if I could ask somebody and say, am I very irritable? It's a fair question to ask. How did you feel when I got angry? You might be caring for somebody. For example, you might care for your sister, but you might blast at your sister. And it doesn't fulfill your core value, which is caring. Then you reflect or you ask yourself, if one can figure it out themselves, it's the awesome thing. And ultimately we do on the last day of our life or a little bit earlier. But if we can, that's why we surround ourselves with somebody who shines the mirror and sort of tells us, you may want to try something else and approach it in a different way. Or why is it that you get angry? Is it because of too much attachment? It's those kinds like that. But ultimately it'll come to you, don't worry. The fact that you got exposed to a concept called a tree itself, you are 5 steps ahead. Okay? So my email address is here. You're all welcome to send me email.
Excuse me, sir.
I'll be delighted. Yes?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, you want one more? Yeah.
Sir, I think you are a really good storyteller. We have seen that throughout the PPT. It would be good if you can end with a story. I have a request. You are an entrepreneur and all of us go through, very, very tough times, and especially so an entrepreneur. I am an aspiring entrepreneur myself, passed out of IIT. I did not join a job. I am running my own company. So I would like you to tell a story when you faced your darkest days and how you came out of that.
Sure. You okay? You have time? I'll keep the story short because the story is pretty long usually, but I'll keep it short. I'll tell you mine, but I'll tell you what the Google boys went through. Google founder started the company with a credit card. It's the same story in Silicon Valley. I'll tell you a second story and then I'll tell you mine. There's a guy called Vinod Khosla, IIT Kanpur guy, well-known guy, multi-billionaire now. Vinod, in one of his early companies, went to a customer and stood outside the office in the reception waiting for the CIO. And the CIO did not come out to meet him.